The storm outside had not stopped. By midnight, Blackthorn Manor had become a breathing thing. Its walls moaned softly as if remembering the dead. Alden Whitlock sat by the dying fire, soaked in sweat despite the cold. His lantern lay beside him, its flame dim and trembling. He hadn't slept. He couldn't. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the same vision, a pale woman standing in the hallway, her face blurred, her mouth whispering words he could never quite hear. He tried to convince himself that he was imagining it all, the whispers, the shadows, the footsteps that came from rooms long empty. But deep down, he knew the truth. Something in this house had awakened, and it had chosen him. The air thickened. The very stones of the manor seemed to hum. And then, a faint sound came again. Not from the halls. Not from the rooms above. It came from inside the walls. A voice, soft as a sigh. A child's voice.
Mr. Whitlock, come find us.
Alden rose slowly. His knees cracked. His eyes darted toward the wall near the fireplace. He leaned closer, and the whisper grew clearer. "We're waiting." He pressed his ear to the cold plaster, and what he heard made his blood turn to ice. Laughter. The laughter of children, distant, echoing, buried deep within the house itself. Alden grabbed his lantern and followed the sound down the narrow corridor. The air grew colder with each step. The wallpaper curled and peeled like old skin. When he reached the far end of the hall, the whispers stopped. He turned and saw a door he didn't recognize. It was small, half hidden behind a wardrobe, sealed with heavy iron hinges. He knelt down, tracing the frame with trembling fingers. Carved into the wood were words, barely visible under layers of dust. Nursery. The handle was rusted. He turned it anyway. The door creaked open with a cry that sounded almost human. Inside was a small room, lit only by moonlight leaking through broken curtains. Dust drifted through the air like ash. Toys lay scattered on the floor, a wooden horse, a cracked doll, a small rocking chair that moved gently, though no wind touched it. Alden stepped closer. His lantern flickered again. There, on the wall opposite him, was something written in faded red.
Play with us, Mr. Whitlock.
He froze. The rocking chair stopped. The air went silent. Then the floorboards began to creak, one by one, as if small feet were moving behind him. He spun around and saw 3 children standing in the corner. Pale. Expressionless. Their eyes black and wet like ink. Their mouths moved silently. And then, the room filled with whispering voices. Dozens of them. The children's faces flickered like candle flames.
Don't leave us. Stay forever. We need you, caretaker.
Alden staggered back, nearly dropping the lantern. His hand brushed the wall, and instantly, visions flooded his mind. He saw flashes of the past. A family dressed in black, a crying mother, a priest chanting prayers. Then screams. Children locked inside this very room. Their shadows burned into the walls as if the fire itself had swallowed their souls. When Alden's eyes opened again, the room was empty. The children were gone. Only the faint echo of their laughter remained, fading down the hallway. He stumbled back into the main hall, gasping for breath. But the mansion had changed. The portraits were different now, the painted faces had twisted into expressions of rage and agony. The eyes moved, following him as he passed. And from the fireplace, black smoke began to pour out, forming shapes, faces, whispers.
Alden, you've come home at last.
He turned and saw her. The woman from his dreams. Standing at the top of the grand staircase. Her long black dress trailed behind her like a shadow. Her face was pale as bone, her eyes empty but alive. "Who are you?" Alden shouted, though his voice cracked with fear. "The mistress of this house," she whispered. "You took their place, now you belong to me." The walls began to shake. Plaster cracked, dust fell from the ceiling. Every door in the mansion slammed shut. Alden dropped to his knees, clutching his head as the whispers filled his mind, hundreds of voices calling his name. He tried to run, but the floor shifted beneath him, pulling him backward, toward the stairs. The woman descended slowly, her eyes fixed on him. Each step she took left a trail of frost. "You cared for them," she said. "You gave them warmth. Now, give them your soul." Alden tried to light his lantern again, but it wouldn't catch. The flame sputtered, then died. Darkness swallowed the hall. The whispering turned into a roar. 1,000 unseen mouths crying out in pain, in hunger, in rage. Alden screamed. The walls began to move again, slowly, breathing in and out, pulsing like the lungs of some ancient beast. From within the cracks, black hands reached out, small, childlike, grabbing at his coat, his arms, his face. He struggled free and stumbled toward the main door. But when he pulled it open, there was no night outside. Only more hallway. Endless, repeating, twisting back into the house again. The woman appeared behind him. Her hand, icy cold, touched his shoulder. "Don't fight it," she murmured. "You've always been here, Alden. You just forgot." He turned, and for the briefest moment, he saw his reflection in her eyes. He wasn't himself anymore. His skin was gray, his eyes hollow. He had become one of them. Morning came. The storm had passed. The manor stood silent once more, as if nothing had happened. A new caretaker arrived a week later, a young man sent by the village council. He found the front door open, the fire still burning faintly. And beside it, a single lantern, cracked but glowing. No sign of Alden Whitlock was ever found. But sometimes, on cold nights, travelers say they can see a faint light moving through the windows of Blackthorn Manor. And if you listen closely, you can still hear the whispers. "Welcome home."